The Secrets of Lavenham, the final chapter. After that night at Sean King's cottage, Isla thought the worst was behind her. She couldn't forget the walls covered in photographs of her, the unsettling notes, or the terror she felt as she ran home. But Sean King had disappeared, and with him, the sense of immediate danger. Weeks passed, and the village of Lavenham returned to its peaceful, sleepy routine. Or so it seemed. However, Lavenham was a village of secrets. Isla's gut feeling, the one that told her Sean wasn't finished, lingered. She became cautious, always looking over her shoulder, avoiding the woods near his cottage. But as time went on, she tried to convince herself that Sean was gone for good. After all, no one had seen or heard from him since that night. One evening, Isla's parents decided to host a small gathering at their home. It was a warm summer night, and the village seemed alive with laughter and conversation. Guests filled the house, their chatter blending with the gentle hum of the evening breeze. For the first time in weeks, Isla felt somehow normal. But as the night wore on, the unease crept back in. While helping her mother in the kitchen, Isla noticed something unusual. A small folded piece of paper had been slipped through the window. Her heart raced as she unfolded it, recognizing the familiar, unsettling handwriting. "I haven't forgotten you. We'll meet soon." She dropped the note, her hands trembling. No, it can't be Sean. He vanished. So who has sent this note? She kept asking herself. Unable to shake off her fear, Isla decided to confront her parents. But they brushed off her concerns, once again dismissing it as a harmless prank. "You're safe, Isla. Sean is long gone," her father reassured her. But deep down, Isla knew that Sean hadn't forgotten her. Over the next few days, strange things began happening around Lavenham. Villagers reported hearing footsteps at night, seeing a figure in the shadows, and noticing odd disturbances around their homes. Sean's cottage, once abandoned, had signs of life, faint lights flickering in the windows late at night. Isla knew it was time to find out the truth. She couldn't live in fear any longer. With her best friend Emily by her side, she returned to Sean's cottage. This time, she came prepared, armed with a flashlight and a sense of determination. When they arrived, the cottage looked just as eerie as before, with its overgrown garden and sagging roof. But something was different. The door, which had been closed and untouched for weeks, was slightly opened. A faint glow of candlelight spilled out into the night. "Are you sure about this?" Emily asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Isla nodded, her heart pounding in her chest. "I need to know." The two of them entered cautiously, the air inside thick with dust and the musty scent of old wood. The photographs of Isla were still plastered on the walls, but they were different now. New photos had been added, recent ones. Images of her at the market, at home, walking through the village. Someone had been watching her, even after Sean disappeared. As they moved deeper into the cottage, they heard a faint creak from upstairs. They froze. Isla's pulse quickened, and she motioned Emily to stay close. They tiptoed up the stairs, the old wood groaning under their feet. At the top of the stairs was a room with the door slightly open. Inside, a figure sat hunched over a desk, writing something. It was Sean King, but something was off. His movements were slow, almost mechanical, and his skin was deathly pale. He looked even more disheveled than before, as if he hadn't slept in days. Isla's breath caught in her throat as she realized Sean hadn't disappeared. He had been hiding, watching, and waiting. "Sean!" Isla called out, her voice steady but filled with fear. He didn't respond at first, just continued scribbling in his notebook. When he finally turned to face her, his eyes were wild and unfocused, as if he were trapped in his own mind. "I was protecting you," he mumbled. "I was keeping them away." Isla stepped back, confused. "Who, Sean? Who are you talking about?" "They're watching us," Sean whispered. "They want to take you, but I won't let them." Suddenly, there was a loud crash from downstairs. Emily screamed, and Isla turned to see a figure rushing toward them. But it wasn't Sean. It was someone else, a man, dressed in dark clothes, his face obscured by a hood. Before they could react, the man lunged at Sean, grabbing him by the collar and dragging him down the stairs. Isla and Emily stood frozen in shock as the stranger and Sean disappeared into the darkness below. Moments later, they heard the front door slam shut. Shaking, Isla rushed to the window just in time to see the two figures vanish into the woods, swallowed by the night. She couldn't believe what she had seen. Who was the man? And why had he taken Sean? The next day, the village was buzzing with rumors. No one had seen Sean or the mysterious man, and the police had found nothing in the woods. It was as if they had both disappeared without a trace. Isla was left with more questions than answers. Who had really been stalking her? Sean? Or someone else entirely? And what did Sean mean when he said he was protecting her? As weeks turned into months, Isla tried to move on, but the events of that night haunted her. The village returned to its peaceful routine, but for Isla, Lavenham would never feel the same. There were secrets in the village that would never be uncovered, secrets that were better left forgotten. And though she never saw Sean King again, she often found herself glancing over her shoulder, wondering if he was still out there, watching from the shadows. End of the final chapter.